Sometime after 1927, Lutsen Light and Power Company began operation with a 94 kVA generator powered by a Caterpillar diesel engine. At that time, the generator could have powered 400 homes. Today, that same generator would struggle with 10 homes. On May 11, 1935, Franklin Roosevelt signed Executive Order Number 7037, creating the Rural Electric Administration to bring power to rural areas by providing low-interest government loans. By 1946, Lutsen Light and Power was privately owned and operated as Superior North Shore Power Company. The building was expanded and additional generators were added to meet the increasing demand at tourist camps, hotels, summer homes, residences, and lumber companies in the area. By 1946, there were 3 generators in the building, similar to the one you see here. At that time, there were 104 miles of distribution line, with an additional 22 miles under construction. You can see from this picture taken in 1946 that the headquarters of Arrowhead Electric had not changed very much. Small remodeling projects over the years added space for the expanding staff. Just like linemen today, this crew built new services, constructed new line, worked all night restoring service when there were outages, plus worked as mechanics when the diesel generators needed maintenance, did yard work like you see here, and invented their own devices to make their work a little easier. They climbed poles without the benefit of a bucket truck. This boom looks like one of their inventions and probably had more than one use, like lifting poles, or reels of wire that probably weigh about 1,000 pounds. These days we have the benefit of digger derricks and bucket trucks. Here you can see they are building a pole bunk that looks similar to the one we use today, so some things have not changed that dramatically. This pole bunk is located very close to the present-day location of Arrowhead's poles. You can also see the very large diesel tank for supplying the generators. When a group of local leaders got together in the early 1950s to find out about loans from the federal government to help get electricity to all of Cook County, a residence was built to house the potential general manager for the cooperative. The residence was used by more than one employee of the cooperative, and for a time it was my home when I first came to work at Arrowhead. Note the barn and storage area in front of the manager's house. The secretary lived upstairs, and some of the men stayed in the building when it was their turn to keep an eye on the generators. Today, Arrowhead has more than 550 miles of distribution line, 5 substations, and nearly 4,000 electric services from the east end of Lake County to the Canadian border, including the Gunflint Trail. The condition of the office space was not ideal, with poor indoor air quality and the constant smell of diesel from all the years it was used to generate electricity. Office spaces had inadequate daylighting due to the nature of the original building use and construction. Some rooms were small and had little ventilation. You were either too hot or too cold. The mechanical systems did not provide proper ventilation or separation, causing indoor air quality issues due to multiple use groups in the building. Other rooms were large, but not designed for use by more than one person. Organization of the interior spaces did not allow for adequate egress from the building in case of emergencies. Public areas of the building were not ADA accessible, and we were outgrowing the building. Every time a new wall went up or space was rearranged, the maze in the old building got worse. In 2004, after a strategic planning session with the board and management, the headquarters became an imperative on the plan. The board of directors elected to provide an addition and remodeling of the facility to better serve the staff, the environment, and its members by becoming a learning laboratory. This also allows the original building structure to serve more towards its original function as a warehouse. Over 75% of the original building remained intact. Arrowhead Electric was looking to take a proactive role in education for this area and be a resource for our members. Most of the original building structure serves more towards its original function as a warehouse. Feasibility for our project began with the 2004 strategic plan that included the building as an initiative. Several options were looked at, including moving our facilities near or in Grand Marais to become more centralized on the system. The Board of Directors authorized management to hire an architect to look at the different options available. And a plan was submitted for both remodeling with an addition and moving the headquarters to a more central area. The decision was made to stay in our existing location because there was value in the existing buildings, there was a history, and we could clean up an existing site. When the 2006 strategic plan was adopted, there were additional initiatives developed to include the environment, especially in light of the state and national focus on global warming and conservation. Most significant for this project to move forward was that DirecTV was sold in 2004, and the money from that sale is funding most of this project. The original franchise for DirecTV service was purchased for $36,000. When NRTC sold their portion of DirecTV, all the cooperatives that provided that service were forced to sell. Arrowhead receives monthly payments that amount to $2.1 million. Investing this money is providing the funds to make this project possible. The addition consists of the cooperative office space, along with conference facilities for the Board of Directors and other annual functions for the members. Buildings fundamentally impact people's lives and the health of the planet. In the United States, buildings use 1/3 of our total energy, 2/3 of our electricity, 1/8 of our water, and transform land that provides valuable ecological resources. Arrowhead Electric Cooperative is located in the town of Lutsen in Cook County, Minnesota. Cook County is one of Minnesota's most treasured and stunning natural recreation areas. In the land of 10,000 lakes, Cook County has the rugged Sawtooth Mountains, the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness, and the shores of the world's greatest freshwater lake right outside its door. More and more, the government is focusing on the environment and taking care of our lands and our future. Approximately 80% of the economy is driven by tourism. It is no wonder that the environment should be a major focus in Arrowhead's project. This storage building, formerly located on site, was found to have deficiencies in the structure itself and in the slab. The building was torn down and all of the material was reused. The transformer loading dock was partially located onto neighboring property, so the transformer dock was dismantled and relocated to the slab that the old storage building was located on. An existing loading area makes access to the dock easy for loading and unloading the transformers. We were wondering where our office would be while the remodeling was going on and finally settled on office trailers. Here the line crew is setting a pole to attach a transformer and metering system to hook up the 3 trailers that would be our home for a year. One of the challenges we faced was obtaining a variance to place the trailers in front of the office building to stay out of the way of contractors and still be there for our members. All of our computer systems, the telephone system, and the backup generator also needed to be transferred from the old building to the trailers. The building was emptied of all the files, desks, line materials, and everything went into storage in Grand Marais, the warehouse, or the trailers. The ambience of the trailers was not much different than what we were used to in the building. Maybe a little more crowded, but we could do it for a year, right? Rain showers gave way to creativity when going from one trailer to another, as demonstrated here by Darlene Ludlow. The biggest challenge was the bathroom. Here it's a sunny day, but that wasn't always the case. It was a quick trip when the wind was howling and the temperature was well below zero, but we did it, and we persevered. In July of 2007, we had a groundbreaking ceremony. It was an exciting day for us to finally break ground after many years of talking and planning. Many locals attended the groundbreaking, and CEO Don Stead talked about the beginning of a new chapter for Arrowhead Electric. The new chapter in our vision for a new building also included a gold rating from the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, also known as LEED Green Building Rating System. LEED is the nationally accepted benchmark for the design, construction, and operation of high-performance green buildings. LEED promotes a whole building approach to sustainability by recognizing performance in 5 key areas of human and environmental health. Those 5 key areas are sustainable site development, water savings, energy efficiency, material selection, and indoor environmental quality. Our vision is connecting the tip of the arrowhead, and we want to connect in as many ways as we can with our members. The LEED rating system was created to transform the building environment to sustainability by providing the building industry with consistent, credible standards for what constitutes a green building. The rating system is developed and continuously refined via an open, consensus-based process that has made LEED the green building standard of choice for many agencies and corporations nationwide. As the green building sector grows at an ever-increasing rate, more and more building professionals, owners, and operators are seeing the benefits of green building and LEED certification. Green design not only makes a positive impact on public health and the environment, it also reduces operating costs, enhances building and organizational marketability. LEED potentially increases occupant productivity and helps create a sustainable community. LEED fits into this market by providing rating systems that are voluntary, consensus-based, market-driven, based on accepted energy and environmental principles, and they strike a balance between established practices and emerging concepts. Why certify? While LEED rating systems can be useful just as tools for building professionals, there are many reasons why LEED project certification can be an asset. Our main reason is to be recognized for our commitment to environmental issues in our community and our organization, including our members and our industry. Sustainable sites is an important part of the LEED process. Prerequisite 1 required that we reduce pollution from construction activities by controlling soil erosion, water sedimentation, and airborne dust generation. The civil engineer created an erosion and sedimentation control plan for all construction activities associated with the project. This control plan was approved by Cook County. Over 300 yards of contaminated soil was removed and hauled to a local containment site. The contaminated soil was from former underground diesel storage tanks that were removed in the 1990s through the Superfund. An old septic tank was also found on the site that no one knew existed. Though it was an additional cost, it helped us clean up our present site. Loss of soil during construction by stormwater runoff and/or wind erosion included stockpiling the soil for reuse. Other features of the sustainable site include bike racks and shower and changing facilities in the building for use by 15% of the building occupants. The Gitchigami Bike Trail, when complete, will be a means for employees to use alternative transportation. The use of permeable pavers will permit stormwater to drain through the voids between the pavers into subsurface retention areas, where it's directed through a series of natural filtration processes before gradually exiting the system. Gravel pave is a structure to provide heavy load-bearing support and true containment of gravel to create a porous surface with unlimited traffic volume and/or duration time for parking. This allows for a surface that is ideal for the cooperative operations, while not creating an impervious surface as was present with the previous Class 5 areas. Fly ash was utilized as a cement substitute. U.S. power plants produce millions of tons of fly ash annually, which is usually dumped in landfills. Fly ash is an inexpensive replacement for Portland cement used in concrete. It improves strength, segregation, and ease of pumping of the concrete. Insulated concrete forms form the exterior walls of the addition. The insulating capacity of expanded polystyrene combined with the mass of concrete makes ICF walls stronger, safer, more comfortable, and more efficient than typical wall constructions. Care was taken to specify and implement during construction that a minimum of 50 to 75% of construction waste was diverted from disposal in landfills and incinerators. Windows, glass blocks, paper, cardboard, wood, concrete, and other materials were all recycled for use somewhere else. Tongue and groove paneling was salvaged for reuse from the old office space into the new office facility. Since the old building was 6 inches below grade, an additional 12 inches of concrete was added to get the building above grade. The wall between the warehouse area and the area where the generators were located was saw cut, and the area was opened up for more space. This is the area that once held the operations department and the break room for the employees. This area will now be used for a metering section and warehouse for the linemen. The light you see in this picture is the old roof where it had rusted through and caused leaking. Additional supports were added, the sheeting was replaced, and the roof membrane is non-reflecting. Steel roof framing was utilized with fabrications using up to 90% recycled steel content. The openings for the doors on the warehouse section of the building were increased so that bucket trucks can be parked inside. 12 vertical wells, 365 feet deep, were drilled to house the geothermal heat pump looping system. I saw a Dirty Job show that talked about how messy this job really is. I had no idea. The heat pump looping system is converted to both a water, and water-air system with in-floor radiant heating and cooling, as well as forced air heating and cooling distributions. Solar thermal panels are mounted on the roof to provide for hot water heating, reducing the required electric load from other sources. Dual flush controls on the water closets provide more than a 40% reduction in water usage for the building, along with low water urinals and faucet aerators. All of the interior and exterior wood trim beams and tongue and groove is salvaged or reclaimed Douglas fir from Duluth timber. It is from the factories of the last century, our industrial forests, that they reclaim the bulk of their wood. Because it's old growth, the reclaimed wood has the finest grain structure of all North American softwoods. And since the wood has stood for decades, it is dry and stable. All spaces were designed and laid out to assure that the commonly occupied spaces use daylighting to the fullest extent. Over 75% of the spaces in the new facility comply with daylighting standards. The light fixtures in the large open spaces are controlled with daylight sensors, which allow the dimming ballast to be adjusted depending on the amount of daylight entering the building, thus lowering the energy usage of such fixtures when not needed. Operable windows are also incorporated in regularly occupied spaces to increase occupant comfort. The clear story windows in the main lobby and work area have mechanical dampers above them to allow for these to be opened and create a natural ventilation flow throughout the space. This will allow for the building to take advantage of the cool summer breezes and reduce the load on the cooling system. Exterior and interior materials were specified for both their recycled content as well as their regional manufacturing within 500 miles of the project site to reduce transportation costs as much as possible. With the enactment of the Next Generation Act of 2007 by Governor Pawlenty, Arrowhead is working to meet the goals to have 100 buildings LEED certified by 2010. Our intention is to help teach our members about the responsibility we each have to pass this beautiful area on to our children and our children's children. We want our members to use this building to ask questions about ways to conserve, to be as excited as we are to have this beautiful building as our headquarters, and to learn about sustainability for our future. We also dedicate this building to those linemen who were a part of our history, a part of our learning, and a part of who we are today. Those men are Arnold Anderson, Ed Jacobson, Joe Stottleman, Jeff Rowe, and Roger Whiteside. They gave their lives while working to give us the electricity that we all so take for granted.